Hello and welcome to my channel. For today's video, we will be focusing on solving rational equations. So stay tuned and we will start right after this. So here are the methods to remember in solving rational equation. In solving rational equations, multiply each term of the equation by the least common denominator or LCD, then solve the resulting equation, and finally check for the correct answer. Before we proceed with the example, let's have a review about the technique or method in factoring quadratic. Say for example, we have 3x squared minus 13x minus 10. So we will be using the method called AC test. So for this method, we will have to analyze our quadratic that should be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And so therefore, a is greater than 1. So meaning to say that we have a coefficient which has the higher value of the exponent, which is 2, that is greater than 1. Okay, so for this example, we will be using the AC test. Now, for this particular example, our A coefficient and then the last term, the first and the last term will goes on the opposite direction of our box. So this is your A value and this will be your C value. And then from there, you will get the product of that, 3 times negative 10, that will be negative 30. And then we will get a factor of negative 30 that will give us the sum of negative 13x. Okay? So take note, we have to multiply these two terms, the first and the last term. This is what we call AC test. And then to factor, we should think of a factor that would give us the sum that is negative 13. Okay? So on this particular boxes, we will have to assign numbers that will add to negative 13. So what are the factors of negative 30? We have negative 10 times negative 3. So if we're going to make both numbers negative, that won't give us a negative 30. It will give us a positive number. But if we're going to make any of these a positive number or either negative number, that won't give us the sum of negative 13. So therefore, negative 10 and 3 or 10 times 3 won't become our factor. How about 6 times 5? So any of these can be a negative number, but it will give us a negative 30, but it won't give us the sum that is equivalent to negative 13. So how about this one, negative 15 times 2? I think this number could be a perfect candidate for us to consider that when we multiply negative 15 times 2, it will give us negative 30. And at the same time, if we add this 2, negative 15 plus 2, it will give us a negative 13. So we will assign that on our remaining boxes. Okay, so anyway, you can assign anywhere this on the boxes. Okay, so we have negative 15x and then multiply by 2x. And then from here, we will be getting the common factor from each of the box. So let's start, for example, this side. So 3x squared and 2x, common factor is just simply x. And on this side, negative 15x and then negative 10. So the common factor is just simply negative 5. And then this one, 3x squared and negative 15x. Also, the common factor is 3x. Okay? And then from here, since we're not going to get the negative number, since the higher value is x squared is positive, so therefore we will use that sign number. And then the other one, negative 2 or negative 10 and 2, the common factor is simply 2. Now, for the factors of 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 is equal to 3x plus 2 and then x times negative 5. And now we're ready to solve rationally. Okay, say for example we have this problem, 5x over 6 minus 1 half equals 3. Okay, first things first, we will multiply it by the LCD. This time around, our LCD is 6. So 6 divided by 6, that will give us 1 times 5x, it will give us 5x, and then 6 divided by 2, 3 times negative 1, that becomes negative 3, and then 6 divided by 3, that's 2, times 1, that equals to 2. So we have 5x minus 3 equals 2. And then we combine like terms, so that becomes 3 plus 3, 2 plus 3 rather. So 5x is equal to 5, and then divide both sides by 5. That will give us x equals 1. Okay, so, and then finally we will check if x plus 1 is our solution. We will substitute that to our original equation. So 5 times 1 over 6 minus 1 half equals 1/3 is equal to 5 minus 3 over 6 equals 1/3. That would gives us 2 over 6 equals 3. That is also the same as 1/3 is equal to 1/3. So therefore, if this is equal, the answer is correct. Okay, let's go ahead and proceed with number 2. So x over 3 plus 12 over x equals x minus 2. We will do the same. We will multiply by its LCD. So this time our LCD is 3 times x. So 3 times x divided by 3. 3 will cancel, and then matitira po yung ating x value. So we will have x squared plus 3x divided by x. We will cancel x, and then we will be left with number 3 times 12, that's 36, equals, so we have 3x times x minus 2, that will give us 3x squared minus 6x. And so from here, okay, since it's already in quadratic form, we will combine that on one side. And then from here, we will simply combine like terms, simplify, and then we will have the final result. 0 is equal to 2x squared minus 6x minus 36. And then we will factor this using the method that we learned earlier, the AC test. And so therefore, we will factor out 2, and then we have 2 times x squared minus 3x minus 18. We can divide both sides by 2. And then 0 divided by 2 is simply 0. And then we have to cancel 2. And then we just left with x squared minus 3x minus 18 equals to 0. And then we can factor this out. So we have x plus 3 times x minus 6. And then equate both factors to 0. That gives us x plus 3 equals 0. And then x minus 6 equals 0. So we have the answer x equals negative 3, and then x equals 6. And then let's check both answers. So by checking, we got that as x equals 6, therefore, we satisfied our equation. So that means 6 is also an answer. How about negative 3? Since based on our checking, negative 3 also satisfied the equation. So therefore, negative 3 and positive 6 are both solutions. Okay, let's proceed with number 3. So we have x over 4 plus 3 equals 1/2 times 1 minus x over 3. So we're going to multiply by their LCD. This time around, our LCD is 12. So 12 divided by 4, that gives us 3 times x, 3x. And then 12 times 3, that's 36. Okay? And then from here, as you can see, I just simply distribute this number only on 1/2, or the number outside the parentheses. You can also do that, or simply you can distribute it also on inside the parentheses. Anyway, that's another method. So this time around, we will be using this one. Okay, so 3x plus 36 equals 6 times 1 over x over 3. And then from here, I simply distributed this number. So we have 6 minus 2x to that. And then we can combine like terms, like this one. Okay, so we will have the result 3x plus 2x equals 6 minus 36. That gives us 5x equals negative 30. And then divide both sides by 5. So our answer becomes x equals negative 6. Okay, so to check our answer, we will substitute back our constant number negative 6 to the variable x on our original equation. So since we satisfied the equation, therefore, the value of x is simply negative 6. Okay, so for our next example, we have for x minus 6 all over 2x minus 3 equals 7 divided by x plus 1. So this time around, instead of multiplying by their LCD, we can simply cross multiply. Okay, so to do that, we have the answer for x minus 6 times x plus 1, and then equals 7 times the denominator of the first term, 2x minus 3. And then we simply use FOIL method on this one on top. And then on the other one, we just simply distribute. So our result on the left side, we have 4x squared minus 2x minus 6 equals 14x minus 21. And so we can combine like terms. So we have 4x squared minus 16x plus 15 equals 0. And then we can use AC test this time on to factor our trinomial. So the result of the AC test is 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 5. And then we equate both factor to 0. So we have x equals 3 halves and then x equals 5 halves. And then let's test if these two values are our answer on letter D. Okay, so 0 is not equal to 0. Okay, so 0 is not equal to 14 over 5. So therefore, this is an extraneous root. So this is not the solution. So that means 3 halves is not the solution to replace on the values of x. So how about 5 over 2? Since 5 over 2 satisfied our solution, so 5 over 2 can be a root or simply the answer, the only answer that we can accept to satisfy the equation. Okay? So I hope you learned from all those 4 examples. Now it's question. You may pause the video if you want to try to answer. Okay? Now let's move on. Let's show the answers for all these question A to E. So for number 1 question, we have the answer x equals 1/2 and then x equals 5. For letter B, we have x equals -1 and x equals 6. I hope we have the same answer. For letter C, we have no solution. And for letter D, we have x equals 2. And last, letter E, there is also no solution. Don't miss to check my other video on general mathematics. Link on the description below. See you on my next video. Bye bye everyone. God bless.